Live from Washington, D.C., Jay Sekulow Live. Phone lines are open for your questions right now. And now, Chief Counsel for the American Center for Law and Justice, Jay Sekulow.
Well, welcome everybody to a very special ACLJ this week. And this is, of course, as we celebrate Christmas, we wanted to do something a little bit different. What we're going to do on this broadcast is kind of take a look back. You know, we have had a whole series. You could write a book on the number of cases we've had involving Christmas, whether it's the inability of students that wanted to have a Christmas song that had a Christian message in it in their Christmas concert, or now they'd call it a holiday concert. We had the situation where words of songs were actually edited because of Christian references to them. We even have one where the word Jesus was deemed inappropriate by a school administrator. I'm happy to say that a lot of those cases now get resolved very quickly. It's rare that you have to go to court over a fight over the Christmas holidays or the celebration of the real reason for the season, and that is, of course, the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ. But that didn't happen out of the air. This was a lot of work that went in literally for decades. And what we're going to do on this broadcast is take a look back, cases going back decades that were involved in these disputes that now are really settled law. And the law's developed really in a very well-meaning way now and really well thought out. I think the courts have really done this right, and that's the good news. Now, it was a lot of work on our ACLJ lawyers, and your support of the ACLJ made that happen. But our ability to publicize these cases at the time also had a dramatic impact on other cases. So you may have had a case in one particular town in a particular state, but then it would impact other cities and other states across the country, because just the notoriety that these cases would get would have a big impact on the entire country. So I'm happy to give you a report. When it comes to the celebration of Christmas in our nation's public schools, it's generally really good. You'll hear about the war on Christmas, but in reality, we've been really successful. We've had great results on getting these cases resolved, normally without litigation. Sometimes you had to go to court, but most of the times you were able to really get it resolved through the school board proceedings, through the school officials. You really could get these cases resolved as long as you knew the facts of your case, the law, and you had a client that was willing to stand up for their rights. And what you're going to see in this broadcast today are these young kids that wanted to stand up for their rights, and their parents wanted to support them in that. So it's an exciting time. We're really excited about taking a look back. A little bit later in the broadcast, you're going to hear a very special song that our band, Jay Sekulow Band, put together about Christmas in the Holy Land. I had a unique experience back at Oxford University this summer. I was working on a program that Oxford has where you go in and you lecture and you have these giant panel discussions on contemporary issues. Mine was on religion, conflict in the Middle East. And one of the topics I addressed, of course, was ISIS. And we wrote a book, Rise of ISIS, from that. But also what happened there, we had a lot of interesting conversations. And from those conversations, I took copious notes of these conversations I were having with all these young PhD candidates from around the globe. These were scholars in their late 20s, early 30s that were asking really deep questions. And one of the students asked me, said, Dr. Sekulow, what is the hope for Jerusalem? What's the hope of Jerusalem? What's going to be the actual hope? And I said, well, it's the Prince of Peace. Jesus is the hope of Jerusalem. And from those notes, we actually created a song. I'm going to play a little bit of it for you right now. We'll play the whole thing later in the broadcast, but here's a little bit of that right now.
And only God knows when the calm from the storm begins. The basis of hope, this hate is going to end. Where nations can live in peace, struggle and battle cease under the hope of Jerusalem.
It's an exciting time. We're really excited about taking a look back. A little bit later in the broadcast, you're going to hear a very special song that our band, Jay Sekulow Band, put together about Christmas in the Holy Land. It's called Hope of Jerusalem, Prince of Peace, because that's the answer for the whole situation in the Middle East and frankly around the world. This is the celebration of the birth of Jesus. For that, we have to always be grateful. That is the hope of Jerusalem. That is the hope of the world, is the Prince of Peace. Now, we are getting ready for our matching challenge. December is a huge month for us, so I want to encourage you that have been supporting the ACLJ to continue to do that. When we have a matching challenge, that means any amount you donate to the ACLJ, we get a matching gift for. We had a call that came in the other day on radio, $3,000 gift, we get 6. That's the way it works through the entire month of December. So we encourage you, whatever the amount may be, it may be $10 or $5, we get a match for that, and it all adds up. And this is a big month for us. December is a big part of our budget. We're really focusing on our work defending Christians around the globe. So this is a particularly important time. We have so many cases involving so much of the Christian persecution issues. We've got developed, by the way, also our entire center on that, and I'll talk about that a little bit later in the broadcast. But right now, I'd encourage you to participate in our matching challenge campaign. You can do it at aclj.org, or you can simply call us at 1-877-989-2255. The phone number's right there on the screen. Again, aclj.org is the easiest way to participate in our matching challenge campaign. We urge you to do that, or 1-877-989-2255. We'll be back with more in just a moment.
It is a critical time for our nation, and the American Center for Law and Justice is on the front lines, defending life and liberty, engaging the issues that matter most to you and your family. Whether it's working to protect Americans from the dangers of radical Islam and the persecution of Christians, to defending life at the U.S. Supreme Court, to protecting your religious and constitutional freedoms, we could not do this work without you, without your support. And now your support can really make a tremendous difference. For a limited time, you can participate in the ACLJ Matching Challenge. If you make a gift now, it will be doubled. $25 becomes $50. A $100 gift becomes $200. Please stand with the ACLJ right now and call 1-877-989-2255. That's 1-877-989-2255, or go online at aclj.org. Thank you for your support.
Welcome back to the broadcast, everyone. As I said, we're taking a look back on our cases involving Christmas. And as I said, I'm happy to say that the cases have gotten resolved successfully. We're always on the lookout for other problems, but generally we're able to get them resolved quickly. I had a conversation over a decade ago with Pat Robertson on the issue of Christmas and issues involving Christmas. Take a listen.
This New Jersey high school brass ensemble wasn't allowed to play Christmas carols at their annual concert this year, even instrumentals, which made a lot of students and parents angry.
This is censorship at its most basic level and political correctness to the extreme.
You are supporting ignorance, and I think it's a very sad thing.
Across the nation, Christianity is under attack by those who don't want religion in the public square. This Chicago school dropped the words "Merry Christmas" from this traditional holiday favorite.
We wish you a swinging holiday.
In Denver, the mayor tried to take this sign down, but changed his mind after a public backlash. One Christian church was told they couldn't enter a religious float in Denver's holiday parade of lights. Many Americans are outraged at the growing trend that takes Christ out of the holiday that celebrates his birth.
Without Christ in the holiday celebration, what do you have? Money? Greed? What do you have?
We need to recognize that religion is a part of our culture, whatever the faith may be.
But others say religion has no place in public life.
Holiday celebrations where Christian music is being sung make people feel different. And because it is such a majority, it makes the minority feel uncomfortable.
But not everyone feels uncomfortable. This Jewish parent says it's okay with him if his son plays Christmas songs in the ensemble, and that it's important to have the freedom to hang on to holiday traditions.
We need to look at the center. I mean, the center in this country is vanishing.
Christmas will be over in just a few weeks, but it's clear the debate over religion in public life won't be resolved anytime soon. Andrea Garrett, CBN News.
Well, if that doesn't shock you, it shocks me. That all over this country, there's a war against Christmas. There's a war against God. There's a war against religious belief in this country. And the vast majority of the American people are theists. They believe in God. The vast majority of Christians, the vast majority believe the Bible is the Word of God. And yet a tiny minority is trying to strip our freedoms from us. It's time to stand up and say no more. Well, Jay Sekulow of the American Center for Law and Justice joins us now for more about the war on Christmas. Jay, what kind of questions are you getting from parents about what's allowed in schools regarding Christmas?
You know, it's been interesting, Pat. We've had the cases in the past years where you've had, joy to the world, the Lord has come, and they have to remove the word Lord and hum instead. And that was a case we had in the early 90s. And there's a number of cases making news right now. There was a situation in Mustang, Oklahoma, where students were told they could not sing Silent Night or have the nativity scene. Now, we got our lawyers at the American Center for Law and Justice involved in that. They were able to sing Silent Night, but as of right now, the nativity scene is still not going to be allowed. That's being worked on. In HUD, that's Housing and Urban Development, they have a lot of these senior homes around the country. A directive evidently went out across the country saying that no nativity scenes could be displayed in the common area of the lobby of the apartment complex for these senior citizens. Well, our lawyers at the American Center for Law and Justice and some of our law clerks from Regent University uncovered a letter directive from Mel Martinez, who was then the secretary of HUD, saying the exact opposite, saying that holiday displays, as they were called, nativity scenes, menorahs, would be allowed and would not be a constitutional problem. So we've got that rectified. There are a number of cases obviously making the press, Pat. You've talked about a number of them. But by and large, we need to say this. Most school districts are actually in compliance, and most cities and towns, other than these few exceptions, and they're obviously very well-known exceptions now because they're so ridiculous, most cities are coming into compliance.
Jay, who's driving the train on this one? It must be a small group, or is it misconception, or are there some really evil people out there trying to do us in?
You know, it's a combination, and it's a combination of all three, Pat. But, certainly there's still misinformation out there. The ACLU, we saw that in some of these interviews. There's some of the ACLU lawyers are taking this position that no, as they call it, religious references during the holiday season. Of course, the holiday season, holiday meaning holy day, they don't quite get that yet. So it's part of that is groups like the ACLU. But I think more than that, it is ignorance. And here's what we've got to be careful. And I think you point this out so well in your book, Courting Disaster. We've got, right now, the law developed pretty well in this area, and we've been successful. We don't want to go running into court if we can get these resolved because, as you know, better than anybody, you're the expert on this now after your book, you don't know what these courts will do when they get one of these cases. So we've gone to court when we've had to, when we've had success, but we're very selective in that. But for the most part, so far, every case that's come in the door, we've been able to work out successfully. We look at those cases back from a decade ago and realize we could not have done those without your support. Again, this is an important time for you to stand with us at the ACLJ. We don't do this often on the broadcast, but we're doing it during the month of December. This is our most significant month for donor support, is the month of December. So I'm going to urge you to join with thousands of others that are participating in our Matching Challenge campaign. And what that means is a group of our donors have gotten together and they've said whatever amount of money comes in during the month of December, we're going to match. So folks, any amount you donate, if it's $10, $5, $100, $1,000, we get a match for it. So I'm going to encourage you to go to aclj.org, and right in the corner on the homepage, there's a button you hit. It's tax deductible, and we get a match for that immediately. So that really helps us out. aclj.org, or you can call in your pledge at 1-877-989-2255, or again, the easiest way is aclj.org.
It is a critical time for our nation, and the American Center for Law and Justice is on the front lines, defending life and liberty, engaging the issues that matter most to you and your family. Whether it's working to protect Americans from the dangers of radical Islam and the persecution of Christians, to defending life at the U.S. Supreme Court, to protecting your religious and constitutional freedoms, we could not do this work without you, without your support. And now your support can really make a tremendous difference. For a limited time, you can participate in the ACLJ Matching Challenge. If you make a gift now, it will be doubled. $25 becomes $50. A $100 gift becomes $200. Please stand with the ACLJ right now and call 1-877-989-2255. That's 1-877-989-2255, or go online at aclj.org. Thank you for your support.
Welcome back to the broadcast, everyone. As I said, we're taking a look back on some of the key cases we've had over the issue of celebration of Christmas during the Christmas season, in public schools especially, but in other places as well. This is an interesting story. A student simply wants to sing Noel as part of the winter pageant, as they called it, or winter festival concert. Noel, very simple. We know the song, meaningful song about Jesus. It was censored. take a look back.
This little girl with a captivating smile is Kara Russell. She is a beauty and talent contest winner. This home video captures her competing at the Las Vegas Dunes Hotel. But when she wanted to participate in her school winter pageant, she ran into a snag.
I went into the music teacher and asked her if I could sing, and she said, pick a song. And then I had a friend stay the night, and we picked Noel. And I went in the next day and told her that I wanted to sing Noel. And she said, I'm sorry, but the principal said that we can't have anything to do with Christ in our songs or in our winter concert.
The song, The First Noel, is a song about the first Christmas, the birth of Christ. And that is exactly why Kara chose to sing it.
Christmas is about Christ, and Noel had Christ in it. And I thought that Noel was a beautiful song, and I had a tape about it. And I practiced it, and it was a beautiful song, so that's why I chose Noel.
Kara's mother, Tamara, says Kara's teacher had no alternative.
But the teacher was sympathetic. She said, before I've always been able to teach it, but she's new at the school, and she said the principal informed all the teachers at the beginning of the year that there were to be no religious, things at Christmas or taught at all.
Kara says her teacher practiced other songs with her, and she was told she could sing either White Christmas or Jingle Bell Rock.
I was mad, but I felt like getting home and telling my mom so she could do something about it, because I know that she wouldn't just let it go. She would definitely do something about that.
When my daughter came home and told me, the first thing I did was pray.
Then she faxed the case legal team for help to find out her options and how to defend her daughter.
He called me and told me exactly the steps he was going to take, and he did it scriptural. He said, we're going to write them a letter first, allowing them to change their minds according to Matthew, and he gave me the scriptures. I thought that was really neat. And when he sent the letter, he said, this is who we are, this is who we've represented, this is the law, and we give you until December 2nd to allow her to sing. I thought that was really neat.
It is censorship when someone is asked to sing a song, choose whatever song they'd like, and then told, no, you can't sing that one because it's about Jesus. We're not going to allow that at the public school. Fortunately, the school administrators understood after we met with them, spoke with them, that they cannot eliminate her speech just because it's about Jesus or the birth of Christ, which the song was really dealing with. And in this case, we saw a successful conclusion. And literally,
Case Chief Counsel Jay Sekulow says the federal courts have brought confusion to public school administrators over the issue of religious activities in the schools. And sometimes public school administrators' hesitance to allow Christian speech is ignorance.
Other times, unfortunately, it's open hostility. And it's, in a way, open shooting season if the Christian student and their parents don't stand up for their rights. Unfortunately, we're starting to see students and parents rise to the occasion because they're understanding what their rights are and stand up for godly rights, including the right to share their faith at the event, that's at issue, or to sing a song from a Christian perspective. And that's the exciting thing when students start exercising their rights, and then we can march into court or into a school board hearing and insist that those rights are protected.
General Counsel for the Clark County School District, Donald Haight, says Kara's principal was acting on a memo sent to all principals from his office.
There was a memo that went out from our administration to principals that said that generally religious observances should be avoided in public schools. And so the principal responding to that memo felt that it would be inappropriate to sing Noel at the school program.
But when the administration received the case demand letter outlining the law and Kara's First Amendment rights, the administration quickly informed the principal that Kara should be allowed to sing the first Noel. Kara says it wasn't long after that she was informed by her principal of the good news.
My mom was really praising the Lord, jumping up and down, couldn't wait till my dad got home, really praising the Lord. She was excited.
The evening of the school pageant, Kara practiced with her mother one last time as they made Christmas candy together. And what would she be thinking about when she sang that evening before her fellow students, parents, and teachers?
In fields where I'll be thinking about my family and God and how great He was to have me sing this, and He just helped me all the way through it. And He's really great. Noel, Noel, far into God's earth. It gave a great light, and so it continued.
As I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, these cases involving, like, for instance, the singing of Noel at Christmas, have generally been resolved very successfully. That's because, again, of your support to the ACLJ, for which we are grateful. I also mentioned early on this conversation I had with students while I was teaching at Oxford University this summer. One of those discussions ended up becoming a song, I think a really meaningful song about the ultimate hope of Jerusalem, which of course is the Prince of Peace. The song's called Hope of Jerusalem. It's performed by our J. Sekulow band. Take a listen.
From these old wooden spaces, remembering those who have passed through before. Scent of the primrose, the symbol of courage. My sentiment hungers to understand more. Friends brought together in deep conversation, passions and concerns of this holy land. All of the faces grown sallow with conflict, bringing the thoughts to the question I ask. Without understanding, we can't have the dream in between. As all of our words fill this room, will it change what we've seen? And only God knows when the calm from the storm begins. The basis of hope, this hay is going to end. Where nations can live in peace, struggle and battle cease, under the hope of Jerusalem. Is this a day we can start a new chapter, sharing the blame for the sins of the past, having the vision to change our condition, out from the shadows our journeys have cast. Think of a time when our children's children will never be touched by the sting of the grave. There is no comfort in acting with courage, but nothing is too difficult for the brave. Although we come from an anguished and grieving land, the prayer of our heart is the peace that can only come from God's hand. And only God knows when the calm from the storm begins. The basis of hope, this hay is going to end. Where nations can live in peace, struggle and battle cease, under the hope of Jerusalem.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this song as much as we enjoyed putting it together for you. I want to encourage you to do a couple things. Number one, if you like that song or the entire album, Hope of Jerusalem, you can go to anywhere you get digital music, whether it's iTunes, Apple, wherever you get your digital music, you can get the song right there and download it and purchase it. And by the way, any amount that we generate from the sale of that EP will go towards our work defending Christians around the globe. So we've really dedicated the album to the defense of the persecuted church globally. So any amount that when you purchase it, that's exactly where it's going. So we encourage you to do that. Also, we're in our matching challenge campaign. Folks, it's a big time of year for us, so we really could use your help. Any amount you donate to the ACLJ, we're getting a matching gift for it. It's that simple. You donate $1, we get $2, 50 is $100. It's that simple. It's a big month for us. We encourage you to do it. So I'm asking you to do two things. If you enjoyed the song and you would like the rest of the album, you could do that, which are some of the standard Christmas songs that you've heard before, but done by our band. Simply go to Hope of Jerusalem, and then once you go there, you'll be able to download it wherever you get your digital music, or participate, and you can do both, and also participate in our matching challenge campaign at aclj.org. That's aclj.org, or 1-877-989-2255. So it's aclj.org or 877-989-2255. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas.
It is a critical time for our nation, and the American Center for Law and Justice is on the front lines, defending life and liberty, engaging the issues that matter most to you and your family. Whether it's working to protect Americans from the dangers of radical Islam and the persecution of Christians, to defending life at the U.S. Supreme Court, to protecting your religious and constitutional freedoms, we could not do this work without you, without your support. And now your support can really make a tremendous difference. For a limited time, you can participate in the ACLJ Matching Challenge. If you make a gift now, it will be doubled. $25 becomes $50. A $100 gift becomes $200. Please stand with the ACLJ right now and call 1-877-989-2255. That's 1-877-989-2255, or go online at aclj.org. Thank you for your support.